All right, let's talk about communication. It's a big deal for everyone, right? Some people think they're bad at it, or that they have some kind of communication disorder. But in a casual way, we talk about people who lack communication skills, or those who are communication masters. But really, the key to communication lies in the power of small talk. What? Small talk needs power? That's where we start. But it's fascinating. We're diving into the secrets of top-notch conversationalists. It turns out there are levels to small talk. The speaker was a salesperson. At first, he wasn't doing so well, and he was even reassigned. But then, he really started thinking about the art of conversation, and he became the #1 salesperson. Now, he runs a communication school. So, what is top-tier small talk, and why is it so important? The ability to engage in small talk equates to having strong communication skills. We say communication skills, but what does that really mean? If we break it down, it's about the power to speak and the power to listen. Many people study how to speak well. They want to improve their presentations, communicate effectively, and speak confidently in front of others. But many also want to improve their listening skills. Lots of folks want to be great speakers, and equally, many aspire to be great listeners. Mastering both speaking and listening is what we call communication skills, and also the power of small talk, according to the storyteller. What? Small talk requires power. This is key. Isn't small talk something everyone can do? I mean, we do it every day, right? With neighbors, at work, with friends. That's small talk. Very few people are only ever engaging in business talks. If you try to turn every friend into a business deal, you might find yourself with fewer friends. Oh no, here comes that sales pitch again. It's a sad situation when you get a call from a childhood friend and it turns into a business proposal. Instead, we should be engaging in small talk. What are you up to? How have you been? This happened, then that happened. That's what's really interesting. We underestimate this because we think everyone can do it. But there are huge benefits to taking it seriously. Your performance will drastically improve. What kind of performance? It significantly improves business performance, like becoming the #1 salesperson. It's not just that, but your relationships will also improve. You see it mentioned everywhere. All our problems stem from relationships. We have lots of worries. Counseling programs and fortune tellers are founded on addressing these worries. Ultimately, most of our problems involve relationships, trouble with family, bosses, friends, school, or work. It's all about relationships. And the power of small talk can improve all that. Isn't presentation skills more important for salespeople? That's where the pitfall lies. Presentations alone aren't enough for effective communication. What's really important is small talk. Haven't you noticed that the best door-to-door salespeople or top-tier salespeople are incredibly good at making small talk? I realized something myself when reading this. People have often praised my presentation skills, but I've always felt a bit awkward when it comes to small talk. I never felt particularly good at it. I'd be backstage with veteran comedians or big-name hosts, and I'd wonder what to say, feeling uneasy. Meanwhile, my partner is a master of small talk. He's unbelievably good at it. Reading this, I thought, that's what he was doing. If I organize it in my mind, maybe I can become good at this too. It's just that I don't know the secrets. There are tricks to small talk. Chris is good at small talk. I'm jealous of how he chats up Tamori-san backstage, or how he gets so animated with Yoshiharu Ishihara. He gets along amazingly well with any senior colleague. I wish I had that ability to engage in small talk. I can give a great presentation, but what about small talk? That's the key. This is what I've learned, and I want to share it with you all. It turns out there's a flow to small talk. What? What does that mean? Remember these 5 steps. First, you start the conversation. Of course. But isn't starting the hardest part? How do you break the ice? Because it's just a casual chat, you want to try and say something, but then how do you expand on that? It's hot, isn't it? Then you just end it. But you have to expand. Then, of course, you listen to what the other person has to say. It's impossible to have a conversation where you're the only one talking. You have to listen. But just listening and saying, "Oh, really?" is terrible. It's a nightmare. You have to liven it up. So, in the 4th step, you liven things up. Once it's started, you have to end it. So, how do you end it in a way that leaves a good impression? This seems obvious, but have you ever really thought about small talk this way? I hadn't. So, by breaking it down into these 5 steps, the speaker has pinpointed what to focus on in each one. That's the power of this teaching. The speaker has seriously considered things that people do without thinking, and he's broken it down into 5 steps and analyzed each one. So, let's go. First, how to start. What's interesting is that it describes first-rate, second-rate, and third-rate ways of doing things. It says what a third-rate person does, what a second-rate person does, and what a first-rate person does in each area. I'm going to give you the gist of it and point out some third-rate and second-rate methods along the way. How do third-rate people start a conversation? They wait to be spoken to. They just wait for someone to talk to them. Wow, that's me backstage. I'm a third-rate conversationalist. When you're at a cocktail party, an after-party, or a reunion, and there's a crowd of people, don't you usually just wait? That's the point. Third-rate people wait. What do second-rate people do? They talk about themselves. Hey, I'm doing this now. That's second-rate. What do first-rate people do? Switch to a dedication mindset. Focus on the other person. You've heard that before, right? To think about the other person is a fundamental premise. But what does it mean to focus on the other person? It means asking questions. We kind of know that, right? But again, the presenter says, are you really focusing on the other person when you make small talk? The most important thing when making small talk is to first focus on the other person. Questions are important. With that in mind, let's listen. Here are some specific techniques. Greet people. Everyone says that, right? Not being able to greet people is third-rate. Just saying good morning is third-rate. You won't find any successful people who do that. Top performers and successful people greet everyone enthusiastically. People who are successful greet with loud and enthusiastic greetings. Saying, "Good morning, it's been a while," is second-rate. What do first-rate people do? They add 2 things to their greetings. What does 2+ mean? For example, you say, "Good morning." Then, as a plus, you could say, "You're here early today," or "It's hot today, isn't it?" You can say anything. To continue that flow, you could say, "You're here early today. Did you sleep well last night?" Or, "You're here early today. Do you do anything in the morning?" You can say anything. "It's hot today, but you look so energetic. Has something good happened recently?" Adding 2 things makes the conversation flow forward. Greeting alone is not enough. When adding two things becomes natural, you'll feel like you're losing out if you don't. So, let's add two things to our greetings. What should you prepare? Preparation is important. Third-rate people don't prepare. They just show up and say, "Oh, it's hot, isn't it?" What do second-rate people do? They prepare topics to talk about. They think, "I'm going to see so-and-so and so-and-so today, so I'll talk about such and such." Isn't that good enough? But the speaker says that's just second-rate. Not topics, but your expression. Your expression is the most important thing. The question is, why do some people make you want to talk to them and others don't? It's all about their face. Why is Mickey Mouse so beloved? He's a superstar. Mickey is always smiling. Can you imagine Mickey Mouse being depressed at Disneyland? "Hi, I'm Mickey. So many people are here today, and I'm a little tired. I'm not in good shape today. Hi, I'm Mickey." If that happened when you entered Disneyland and saw the silhouette, and then Mickey came out in the parade looking depressed, it would be a disaster. What happened? If you saw a person with a blank or angry expression, you might ask, "Are you in a bad mood?" Even if I'm just being normal, people ask if I'm upset or tired. It's my fault, of course. I should smile. That's important. Think of the staff at a cafe or the beer vendors at a baseball stadium. Some of them get customers talking to them more than others. Why? It's the expression on their faces when they're waiting, when they make eye contact. It's the expression on their face when you enter the shop that says, "Thank you for coming." It's all about their facial expressions. This reminds me of Chris. He's been talking to senior colleagues backstage, especially Hong Kong-san. I was wondering how he did it. There's a method. He stands where Hong Kong-san can see him. He first stands in a place where he can be seen. Then he smiles when they make eye contact. Then they say, "What are you doing?" He makes it so easy to talk to him. What a genius. Prepare your expression. I never thought about that. But Mickey Mouse does it too. That's amazing. So, remember their names. Third-rate people forget names. Second-rate people try hard to remember names. For example, they try to create a story around their name, like, "His name is Katsaru, which means victory, so he must be a gambler." First-rate people repeat the name to remember it. They say it many times during the conversation. "Hello, Yamamoto-san. How are you doing?" Even if it's the first time you've met, you ask, "What's your name?" "Yamamoto-san." "Oh, is that right?" "Where are you from, Yamamoto-san?" They say Yamamoto-san a lot. They repeat it over and over. This is really important because of the concept of the forgetting curve. I used this a lot when studying for exams. People can't remember things if they only try to memorize them once. You have to control it along the forgetting curve. This is a method I learned when studying for exams. You know you won't remember it the first time, so you memorize it once, and then your memory fades over time. When it starts to fade, you repeat it again, and it sticks better. It fades again, and you repeat it before it fades completely. Just thinking about that word once a day helps. That's why it's great to stick English words on the bathroom wall. It's repetition. I use that method to memorize my routines. I wouldn't practice for 2 or 3 hours. I just practice for 15 minutes and then do it again tomorrow. This works because of the forgetting curve. This is what helped me memorize my material without forgetting. This is how anyone can become a top salesman. The difference between someone who thinks anyone can do small talk and someone who does it with a top-tier mindset is huge. So, let's call their names. This is important. First, the other person is the main character. Talk to them and ask questions. Start with a greeting plus 2 things. Remember to have a face that says, "I'm happy to talk to you." Then, when you hear their name, repeat it. Good. After you make an opening, how do you expand on it? Even if it's someone you don't know very well, you can still do it. Third-rate people can't expand, so they create a wall and just end the conversation. Second-rate people look for common ground. But the speaker says that's only second-rate. Because common ground is rare. Most of the time, you won't be from the same hometown or like the same shows. So what do? Focus on the differences instead. Make those differences a good thing. That change in mindset is really important. When something is different, try to spark interest. The speaker likes Evangelion, so he could say, "You don't watch anime. What do you usually watch? Movies? I don't watch many movies. What's interesting right now?" By sparking interest, those differences become a weapon. Then, most people will be full of ways to expand the conversation. Start with, "Wow, that's interesting." That opens the door for a question. Ask, "Tell me more." On top of that, praise them. Lots of books say that. But praising is hard. It's difficult to find something to praise. It's rare to just meet someone and think of something to praise. So, what do? Give up? This is the part where you see what to praise them for, and you ask about them.